What up, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Bear Down Now. I'm your host, Jason, and we're talking Chicago Bears preseason week 2 against the Bills. We know they had a joint practice with the Bills this week on Friday, much like they did against the Dolphins last week. They worked that ass last week and ended up in a timed preseason game. We don't really care what the results of preseason is, as long as we can see some building blocks on the potential. This week, we're going to see some starters for the Bears, thank God. Bills, not so much, probably not. But keep in mind, this is still an interview. This is still a test run and a way to get some plays on film for the guys, the back half of the roster and the practice squad guys. Not just for the Bears, but, around the league, which teams want who. Go get some more tape and film. These guys want to get some jobs too, because we're cutting from 90 to 53 in a couple weeks. Sounds like joint practice went pretty well, other than the left tackle position. Sounds like a lot of what we've been hearing has been the same. Team hold their own, which is great because you're going up against a Bills team that's a perennial contender. They know how to prepare. They know how to practice. They know how to execute. And the fact that you can hang with them, especially on defense, with Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon out, really cool to hear going up against the MVP, Josh Allen. I mentioned the left tackle position. We're talking about Braxton Jones, Ozzie Trapillo, Kiran Amagaji, and now Theo Benedict. Braxton did not play well in the preseason game. A lot of controversy, a lot of clickbait going around this week. A lot of uncertainty towards the position. Trapillo practiced everywhere. He played left and right, ones and twos, mostly the twos this week because Theo Benedict was playing right and left in the preseason game. Now he practiced a lot with the ones against the Bills this week, and so I'm sure we'll see tons of rep out of him today. This is Sunday afternoon, by the way, before the preseason game. I think we need to take a chill pill on this, though. Just the whole left tackle preseason clickbait narrative. I know left tackle is one of the biggest, most important positions in the entire sport. But here's why I'm telling you to chill. Last year, Bears gave up 68 sacks. We all know it was a historic record, nothing to be proud of. But if you remember, the offensive line, the best player was Darnell Wright. Braxton Jones, the left tackle, was arguably the second best offensive lineman because we had a rotating middle of the guard-center-guard combination. They were trash. But let's not forget that we made upgrades there. You got Dahlman, Pro Bowler. You got Joe Thuney, in my opinion, the best guard in the league, as unbiased as I can be. And then Jonah Jackson. He's a stud, a Pro Bowl when healthy, has experience with Johnson when he was with the Lions a couple years ago. Now, what that means is, last year we were talking about, he's the second best lineman, he's going third year, going to his fourth year. We're going to have to pay him $20 million to play left tackle, being Braxton Jones. And the narrative is completely flipped, and it seems we've forgotten. We have significant upgrades up the middle. That's going to alleviate immediate pressure now. And again, you put in that whoever's playing left tackle. Braxton's the example right now. But with Thuney there being one of the smartest guys in the league, not just for his position, he's going to help ID stunts. He's going to help in the pass game. We know Ben Johnson wants the best pass protector out there at left tackle. Fine. Leg up Trapillo? Possibly. But that's really where we need to chill out. He's gone from arguably the second best offensive lineman to the fifth. Take the player's talent out of it. We had Waldron and OC. We had 3 OCs last year, but Waldron and OC, who is about his system more than adjusting the scheme to his players' best traits. Not to mention, we hardly ever saw chips or tight ends staying in the block, running backs focus on their side. You don't think that Ben Johnson, who comes out with his preaching of, I don't know what we're going to be yet. I am here to figure out what our players' best strengths are and put them in positions to succeed and call plays that help them do what they do best. Yeah, sometimes that's coach speak, but I'm starting to believe it with the intentionality we've seen everywhere else across the board. Does that mean in Johnson we trust? I mean, the fan in me definitely says yes, but until we see some success out of him, I don't know. Back to the point at hand, though, left tackle. You don't think that Ben Johnson knows left tackle, personnel-wise, is the weakest link they have on the team? He's going to have 12 pers. Again, under center is going to help with the pass rush anyway. He's going to leave chips. He's going to have some check releases. He's going to put help at his weakest link. He's not just going to say, well, you have to run my system like Nagy, like Waldron, like those before him. He's smart enough to know how to get defenders moving and get his offensive line in positions to win, including the left tackle. Don't discredit having an all-pro Super Bowl winning guard right next to you to help you out too. Whereas last year, Braxton had to be the vet. He had to be the guy kind of directing traffic as the elder statesman because you had so many guys flipping around. Anyway, end rant on that. The faith point reminder on Johnson as a whole is they scored 68 touchdowns last year on offense. I think that was a record, something close to it. The Bears scored 68 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons combined. Take that for what you will, but they had as many touchdowns and sacks the Lions as the Bears. That's crazy. So a little bit of leeway and understanding towards Ben Johnson is needed. I am excited about the weapons. Everyone's talking about, Luther Burden getting up to speed. He looks like a man amongst men playing out there against these DBs. But Olamide Zaccheaus came from Washington by way of Atlanta throughout his career. Has really kind of shown to be the reliable guy. So I'm excited for Rome. My wife is definitely excited for Rome. DJ, I think, is going to be more of your gadget type guy. And I don't mean that in a Deebo Samuel way. I just mean it like he's going to be the guy moving around, doing everything unique. Rome's probably going to be your true X. That's more of your isolated big body receiver. But I'm not seeing a ton of DJ Moore on these highlights that are getting leaked. Again, asterisks, highlights getting leaked. That's all just for media hype and all that stuff. But I'm definitely getting excited about Rome Odunze going to second year there. Game starts at 7. That means we're a little bit under 6 hours out from right now. I don't think I have a much differing opinion from the national narrative right now. I just want to see clean operation. I want them to come out, get their full pregame reps, go through their routines, have the juices building up, get ready to get hit, get ready to make an impression. But the fall starts, that's the obvious narrative here. We need to clean that up. But the pre-snap operation, getting in and out of the huddle, commanding the offense from Caleb, knowing your assignments with your shifts and your motions, all the things that get complicated. And again, you're playing at home tonight. I don't think, again, that the Bills are going to have their starters out there, but doesn't matter. You should, if that's the case, going up against the twos on Bears O1s, Bills D2s, you should be able to walk down the field in the first drive or two and score. Honestly, opening drive for sure, but we'll go from there. That's really all I'm looking for out of the game tonight because, again, dress rehearsal for the starters, interviews for the back end of the roster. Transitioning away from the game, what I thought was interesting, take it from however you want, but the Bears dropped another episode of 1920 Football Drive. For those of you who don't know, it's basically the media team putting out a 20-minute clip. It's a hype video. It's put out directly from the team, so we know there's no cussing, but it's a hype video set out by the Bears. And you had Rome Odunze mic'd up. You got to see, Colston Loveland doing his thing, which apparently is a hot rush for all the ladies right now. At least that's what the TikTok trends are showing. But there's one takeaway was that it was actually, to me, way more engaging than all the episodes of Hard Knocks combined last year. And my co-host for Run the North, Will, caught it immediately when interactions between Eberflus and Caleb went down. He's like, this is awkward. I'm like, yeah, he's kind of a weird dude, but, I mean, wouldn't the head coach and the quarterback want to have one-on-one meetings? Well, I missed the intangible that inevitably ended up being the curse for the season, that there was no buy-in to Flus. Anyway, why I enjoyed this one, some of them are fine. The pre-draft, the post-draft, all the off-season stuff are fine. But really getting to highlight the coaching staff in this one stood out. And not that I'm trying to glaze the coaching staff here, is that there was just a notable intensity and intentionality. There was you could feel the quote unquote the standard. It's like, you know what? No nonsense. We're intentional with everything that we do. There's a hustle. I loved seeing up downs out of the new guy that got signed. Coach made everybody rally up. Hey, 40 up downs. The DA is like, get after it. You got to pay the toll. Love that. I played safety in my day in college. Like that was, that's sick. Just have the buy-in and the intensity there. Little geeky by Komet. It's like, oh, we had a good percentage there. I was like, the phrasing and the tone was weird, but the fact that they are talking about not only completion percentage, but their offensive efficiency, that's a primary front of mind focus. That was refreshing. That's what you should have your own, like anybody that knows. We talked about this with Will last week on the other podcast, is have smart goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So if you're not focused on your goals in whatever walk of life, if you're working at the post office, you're working for a bank, you're working for a football team, you're working with, educational system, you should have your goals lined out. You should have a plan on how you're going to get them, and you should be focused every day. Now, does that get a little redundant? Sure, but having that goal in mind is sweet. So to see that, we all know that Caleb's goal is for 70% completion on the season. Has he hit that in training camp? No. What I'm hearing, because again, I'm up here in Minnesota, what I'm hearing is when the offense is clicking, it's great. No duh. But the pre-snap is more of an issue than the in-play reads right now, and all that being a product of a well-schemed offense. So I'm actually really excited to see just what we can do. And I'm not talking about last year. 2 years ago is Justin Fields' first play out of preseason. He had that, that left wing little smoke to DJ, and he took it 65 yards to the house. I'm not looking for that. Yeah, that's exciting. I want to be a fan too, but again, it's preseason. Doesn't mean anything. We've had teams go 0-4 and win Super Bowls. I think the Lions, or was it the Browns, went 4-0 in the preseason. I think they went 0-for. You see all the bags in the stands over their heads, that type of thing. So don't get too hype about the result of the play. Focus on the intentionality of the setup. Does it look and feel like Caleb is in control? In control of the offense, confidence of his reads, aware of the clock, down distance situational stuff. Hopefully he's getting coached up on that because he clearly was not last year. And then coaching using timeouts, well, it would be pretty sweet. Last week we had Luther Burden on that little over route right before the half. Time expired, but then they checked and it didn't. We got the field goal off. So those are things you never would have seen under Flus. All right, transitioning away from the game itself and from preseason football as it relates to the Bears, let's talk two things. Let's talk fantasy, let's talk Madden. I got my guillotine draft slot. I had 8th selection to pick where I'm going to pick out of 18. It's an 18-man league, half point PPR. I ended up going with the 14th overall pick. I had 10 picks to choose from. There were a couple of 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, and then I think it was 14 to the end or something close to that. I chose 14 because I can pick at 14. I like a couple guys in that slot, whether it's like H.A., Nico Collins, maybe Neighbors or CMC fall that far. Maybe there's a nice back in there. I'm not sure where it'll totally be. I'm going to start doing my mocks this week. But then on the turnaround, I get pick 23, which I like some of the guys that are falling in that slot. In this league, it's very favorable towards quarterback. I'm not sure if I want to go Josh Allen or Lamar that early if they're on the board. They have shown to do that in years past. But, you end up with a Bucky Irvin, a Chase Brown. I don't know if I'll go double wide receiver or not. But those are some names that are going to be in that slot that would be exciting for me. Another reason why I chose pick 14 is because it's towards the end of the draft. And now it's an 8-point turnaround, and then you got to wait for the others on the way back. But 8 slots in between is pretty nice. But when you get to the third round, we have a third round reversal, which means when you have your snake going this way, 1 through 18, 18 back to 1, it starts over with the 18th pick gets to go first in the third round. So I'll have, I think, 14, 23, and then 41. And then it's just a true snake through the rest of the end there. So I'm really confident that I can have a good core. Last year I had 1-1 and I took CMC, which totally screwed me. But then I had to wait all the way to 18 back to 36 to have my second pick. And then instead of getting to go back-to-back picks at the end there, I had to wait another 18 picks because of that third round reversal. I get it. It ends up being all the same value at the end, but I was not a fan. And taking advantage of that this year, I had a decent pick. It was all randomized to figure out where our pick slots for picking our slots was. But that's where I'm at there. Dynasty Contracts League, that's going to be a full point PPR. First year of the league, we're setting that up, and that's something where I don't have a strategy just yet. Part of me wants to just get after it because there is no rookie draft first season. That won't happen until going into year 2. So do I go just focus on young? Do I go for win now and chips fall where they may? The one thing that I've always liked having a balanced roster. I like paying for a decent top end tight end. Not that I need the 1 and 2, but just someone that's top 7, 8. And then quarterbacks, streaming quarterbacks, or am I going all in on a quarterback this year? I don't love it. Like Cam Ward's the only quarterback from this year worth even talking about. And even then, I don't know, because we won't have stash spots this year. When we have the rookie draft, we'll have those 4 slots to stash a rookie if we need to. Obviously, he'll be ineligible, but next year's rankings will be available. But it's like, this is also the first year, too. It's a 12-man league. I know half the guys in the league. We merged it with our other podcast league. And then some other buddies from a different walk of life that I don't know them. So I do know most of them are going to be Bears fans, though, which is a disadvantage to me because the last 10 years or so I've been in Minnesota and I've been drafting with all my buddies here from Minnesota. So nobody likes the Bears. They all avoid the Bears. I try to get a sneak pick in there for $1 or $2 for a depth piece. I just don't know if that's going to be feasible this year. Can I get Colson Loveland for $1? Can I get Roma Dunze for, 8 instead of 15? Like, I don't want to rely on him for that much, just because there's so many unknowns in real football. So anyway, that's something I'm going to start this week too with my research. I'll report back midweek, end of week. Start posting some of my mock drafts too. And then lastly, I got a 12-man snake, I think next Wednesday, the 27th. It's ESPN, full point PPR. That's the Buddies and Wives League. And so I'll be drafting for myself, and I'll probably just go through and set a bunch of cues for my wife and say, hey, if you don't know, pick one of these guys. So, yeah, fantasy updates to come. Madden 26 dropped on Thursday, the 14th. That was 3 days ago now. Definitely grinded through most of the solos first day just to get a feel. Again, I haven't played since 2021, so it was definitely a lot different than what I was used to. A lot of the checks were different. A lot of the button combinations to get there were different. A lot more pre-snap motion, which is kind of fun, but I'm not sure how it's going to play online yet. I played with a buddy online the other day, and I think we went 3 and 3, playing twos. And it was pretty cool. I don't know where I'm going to be as far as chasing metas on offense or, finding those combo blitzes on defense to instant pressure. But it definitely felt a little bit slower as far as back movement. Again, we're playing with MUT teams, so everything's a little bit slower too because your best player is an 80 overall. Also played Will live stream for those who caught it on Thursday, the night it dropped. I was the Bears, an 82 overall. He was the Vikings, an 88 overall. That was a fun experience. He bested me 2-1. We had a rubber match, and I lost. But definitely fun. We're going to see if we get him into some MUT, too. I enjoy that a lot. But I'm going to go no money paid this year. So, not that I've done it in the past. A couple bucks here and there just to keep the intrigue or get some of those promotional cards. I always love the flip positions when it comes to the Christmas season there. But, yeah, curious to see how you guys like playing it. Come find me too. Tosh.02 is my gamer tag on Xbox, but the cross-platform, I think Will's on PC. Trying to get my buddy Luke in on PC as well. But come find me. Let's game. I think after a couple weeks, I'll knock the rust off and I'll get back into it as far as being able to perform well. Not that I was ever dominant. Luke was always better than me, but I think I'll be able to figure some things out. I want to just get in, ID stuff on defense, read them out, and just get the ball distributed because I think Death by 1,000 Cuts is more frustrating than a guy who's giving up glitchy bombs. All right, so that'll do it for this week's episode. Again, preseason week 2, Bears versus Bills, coming up in a couple hours tonight. I'll catch you a couple updates before, during, and after the game. Maybe I'll go live with Will. But be sure to subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, leave a review. Go find us on socials too. Be sure to let me know if I'm right or wrong on some of these things because really, if you saw my intro video, I'm up in Minnesota. I've got no Bears fans to talk to, so I just want the engagement. I crave it. This is my therapy. This is my outlet. Looking forward to meeting some people. And yeah, just keep the engagement coming because I'm excited to talk to you all. That's it for today. Catch you all during the game tonight. And we'll catch you next time. Bear down now.